Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time for the general update for the best champions for Battlegrounds for October 2025. Myself, the Illuminati. We've been doing this since before Battlegrounds was even live. Remember, this is a general tier list for Battlegrounds, meaning it's not meta specific. If you love Battlegrounds, you like Battlegrounds, you want to get better at them, take this into account when you're making your rank up decisions. That way, you've got a deck already ready to go. And then when the specific meta comes up, you can massage. You can put in the champions that are going to be better for that meta. Remove the ones that are going to be ours. Great, but you've already been ranking them up over time. Thank you. A lot of you comment. You're like, hey, this has been so helpful to me over the last like 6 months, and I've gotten so much better at Battlegrounds. As usual, we're going to start with defenders. We'll go over attackers and dual threats. Every single one of those categories is important. And remember, champions are only ranked once, and they're ranked where we would find them the most useful, the way we think of them, so we can rank them the highest as possible, show them off. And then as we move into defenders, I will comment. There's a lot of hot pink today. That's usually who I talk about. I'm not going to be able to talk about every single one of these, or it'd be like a 3-hour video. I have done my video on champions who I've got my eye on, or I think the skip special 3 change in Battlegrounds. Long time coming. Glad Kabam finally did it. These champions, I think, might become more usable. Some of them we're going to want to test out. And if they've got the dice emoji, that means we've actually promoted them. We're pretty sure this is going to work out well. And the ones without the dice emoji, that means like we've got our eye on it over the next few months. Make sure you check out my channel, of course, for the tier list, but also all the Illuminati and those sorts of things to see how we feel like they're playing out. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this. This is a promotion for Kindred. Kindred is a, in my opinion, a phenomenal defender, especially at that very high sig. I'm not going to be able to go into all of that. I know that's a hot topic right now. I've been talking about it for a long time too. But also, I do think there is potentially something. Kindred's not going to become like a nuke, but we have added the offensive potential use. In fact, I think we've had that for a while now, but this is a move from a 9 to a 10, and Kindred's defensive capabilities have always been there. I think now, depending on the meta, with the special 3 change, there may actually be some offensive use, or some more offensive use. I don't even know how that grammatically made sense, but you get it. If you're like, what the hell are you talking about? Check it. Take a look at Kindred special 3. The amount of attack that comes off of that. I'm very excited to play around with it and test it out. All right, moving on down. We've got Dragon Man, the massive power gain, right? Destroyer. Destroyer, I've been a big fan of. Unfortunately, Destroyer is a symptom of the problem of Serpent, really, of like these really, really good champions came into the game, and then you had like Serpent come in. It was like, oh, they just can't take him. Like, it's just all these protection mechanisms and safeguards and immortalities and things like that. That being said, I do think there are possibly more offensive uses for Serpent, and I think the SP3 time change will help out, Destroyer significantly. Similar to Spidey Supreme, I need to pick up the pace a little bit. I don't want this video to take 4 hours. Next is going to be Rhino. Now, I do have the 7-star lock there, right? 7-star champion variety. This is getting prepared. You know, I did my video kind of predicting what champions I think are going to be in the next like Guardians pool in December. We really don't know. I mean, I predicted that, and it was fun. I made a little bet with you all on it, but we don't know. But eventually 7-star Rhino does have to come, and I think 7-star Rhino is going to make a massive difference. You're going to need to be able to stop that unstoppable. It is going to happen, and unfortunately, Rhino also reduces like the ability accuracy of bleeds by like 80% or something like that, which nerfs Koye quite badly. Doesn't get around unstoppable anyway, but like a champion like Cheel with her grit, it's yeah, design space, right, Kabam? Okay, so now we're moving on. Go to Mutant. We'll get to Captain Britain. Again, 7-star. We're starting to see higher ranked 7-star variety. She's a I'm trying not to make this video about this, but we started off with defenders. She basically requires a hard counter. Okay, you can't really skill your way around not taking energy damage. So there she is. I do think, and I remember in testing her, I was like, offensively, I would not want to use her unless I could go to my special 3. Then you go to your special 3, and you are doing massive, massive damage. As I kind of talked about, though, the issue with Destroyer is there's so many defenders in the game now have safeguard mechanics. Hello, Captain Britain herself. Immortality mechanics. What does Deathless Thanos have that like comes every 25%? Basically, I'm not sure she's going to be able to get around them, but it's not always about just those dominant defenders in Battlegrounds. Sometimes you find yourself facing a champion that's not like that. She might be able to use those. I'm very excited about it, but her score change is due to her defensiveness, and like she just requires a hard counter. It is what it is. And then the same with Dark Phoenix. Literally take everything I just said about requiring a hard counter and swap it onto Dark Phoenix. I'm curious to see if she gets nerfs or buffed or those sorts of things. I think Kabam's got a lot of explaining to do, and I hope that over the next few months they start to make the rebalance program make some amount of sense. And I'm really hopeful for that. I think it'd be good for the game moving forward. Moving on to attackers, you can see some new additions in the Illuminati. Very excited and grateful to have them along. In Nagase and Cantona, like two of the greatest players in the game, two great YouTube channels. If you're not familiar with either of them, make sure you check them out. I'm sure you are with Nagase's, but you might not be with Cantona's. Phenomenal Battleground streams, phenomenal Battlegrounds player. Going to be cheering him on at the Summoners Fest, I believe it's called, the Battleground Brawl, along with Nagase, of course. I hope those two meet in the finals, and it just goes so long they both get trophies and win. But make sure you check out both their channels. I think you'll really enjoy them, learn a lot from them. And like I said, I'm pretty sure you're already familiar with Nagase's. And if you're not, come on, what are you even doing here? All right, so now we are on to the attackers. Diablo, similar thing. He did actually get a slight promotion. The dice is there just to let you know, though, okay? But the SP3 can be a big part of Diablo's rotation for speed, getting those buffs. You want to go into the nullify aura, nullify them, and then you're just swiping your specials. It's really, really fun. I may take my Diablo up because of this. Sigil Witch, who I've been shouting out for a long time too. I know Trap has recently done it as well. She can do significant damage. Relos on my server has been pointing this out. This, again, the special 3 change with the degens can be significant. Moving on down to the super hot and Mystic, we've got Sorcerer Supreme. I want to see this. And one of the reasons why I'm not just immediately moving Sorcerer Supreme up is, you know, if you get pushed to multiple special 3s, yeah, we've got the skip button, but I don't think multiple special 3s are going to help you out if you're continuing to get pushed to them. And so I want to see that play out more. Okay. Then we've got the new champion Dracula. I've got a playlist for Dracula here. Again, Grass has been doing phenomenal new champion videos. So I guess there's only been one, but I know Grass. I love Grass's channel. New in the CCP, did a great video on Dracula. I think very honest, very forthright. I loved it. A really deep analysis on like where Dracula is potentially going to be good. I realize there's a bit of irony as we're showing him with the 6. I don't think it's going to be in Battlegrounds. And then Nagase did a phenomenal video too. Both of them saying though, off of the special 1 and the special 2, there is very, very relevant utility. This is a champion who I just don't think is going to be great in Battlegrounds. But again, as we've talked about, the metas, and it makes sense, have become more and more and more niche, meaning it's not always a quote-unquote nuke meta. So there is a world where Dracula might be able to be helpful to you. But I want to see that a little bit first before we start increasing the scores, because I'm aware of the videos. Make sure you check out Nagase and Grass for some really great, like, again, honest Dracula analysis. Now moving on to science, we've got our only other champion we're going to comment on is Miles Morales. I do think, and I said this in my Miles Morales video, I do think potentially going to the special 3, there's a large physical vulnerability, might be the way to go. Get some good damage up. I just think he's lacking a lot of the utility that you often want in a Battlegrounds champion, taking some of these more defensive, really big monstrous defenders, but we'll see. I think starting off with 6 is fine. If we find out he's more of a 7, we'll elevate him, or potentially more of an 8. I just don't think that's going to be the case, all right? Moving on to skill, we've got Massacre, who Trap has just done a phenomenal video on that. There's just not a lot of 7 stars running around. If you've got a 7-star Massacre, especially at like rank 4, can be one of the quickest champions in the game, able to even go outside of his class relationship. So you guys know I love Massacre. I might even begin to the point where I might consider doing the CCP challenges. We'll see though. We'll see as we head into the holidays. Time is becoming more and more precious. Moving on to the mutants, Namor, a champion who, again, probably going to get a big boost from the special 3 change. I said I was going to talk about all of them, so I want to keep this going. Same thing with Cyclops. The reason why Namor is higher listed than Cyclops, despite both of them being champions that want to get the special 3, and then it's pretty much game over, is I do currently think that Namor's utility of not taking damage will be more helpful in potentially going up against some of these big defenders, right? Nagase has shown us that. Now, I happen to like playing Cyclops, so I'm excited about testing that out. If his signature ability gets buffed, like I hope it might, and I think it makes sense if it does, if they want him and Nico's attribute scores to make sense together. But, you know, that's a lot of ifs and or buts, so don't go ranking up your Cyclops just for that, okay? Moving on, we've got Professor X, who, if the special 3 change makes a big enough difference, remember, he shuts off miss and evade, and a lot of his attacks are non-contact. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We get to the Maker here. The Maker, Grass just did a phenomenal Battleground showcase on the Maker, and he makes some really great points. And one of the great points that he makes is the Maker is often not going to be the fastest champion. But again, as Battlegrounds metas become more and more niche, let's call them, or like fine-tuned, I think might be a better term for it, having an attacker who can take a variety of defenders becomes extremely valuable. So yes, might not win in nuke metas and nuke fights, but as again, Battlegrounds has continued to become more fine-tuned, the Maker might actually have a role. I think it deserves to be up there with like Ironheart. These are phenomenal, phenomenal champions. And the last one, Hyperion. I know you Hyperion love. I know you guys, and I love you guys. You guys are great. I love your comments. I love you hyping your boy. Did not mean that pun. I swear I did not mean it. And he is awesome. But take some of what I just said about like Namor and Cyclops, where it's like, get to the special 3 and kind of win. And I know Hyperion, I think, depends on how you know. He doesn't really have more utility, actually, than Professor X or Cyclops or Namor, but he's got that massive power gain. So he's going to get to the special 3 faster. He does have the really nice Incinerate. I know he's got the Furies. So there's a lot there to show that this might be a 9 one day. I want to see this, though, guys. I really want to see this. I don't know if he's got the utility to go out and take some of these other champions as Battlegrounds gets more niche. I'm very comfortable being wrong on the downside. I don't want to tell you Hype's a 9, have people go out and rank 4 their Hyperion, and then 2 months later, we're like, oh, sorry, guys, he's really more of an 8. And here's the thing, if you look at the champions that have 8s, these are great champions. Okay, you can put them in your deck, and if you construct your deck well enough and you do your bans and drafts well enough, these champions are going to do amazing for you. I've done MCoC showcases in Battlegrounds. Okay, it can be doable. It is doable, and it's good. These are great scores. But when you see the 9s and 10s, I'm not quite ready to put Hyperion there. All right, quickly we'll go through the 9s and 10s. We've got Stealth Spider-Man. So like I think everyone in the CCP did a video on Stealth Spidey. They're phenomenal. They're great videos. Lags did one, Trap did one. Nagase has done multiple. Like check them out. I think I'm convinced, as much as someone who I do not like playing Stealth Spider-Man, I am like, okay, I want to get Stealth Spider-Man, and I will very much consider awakening him and taking him to rank 4. Okay, that turns off miss, evade, the whole thing. A lot of the videos though are showing him with the fragility debuff instead. So I think this is a very high skill champion. In fact, I'm going to put that emoji up when this video is over. But if you can play him high skilled, I think you got a 9, potentially even a 10, okay? And then Carolina Dean, thank you, Cantona, thank you, Nagase, thank you, literally everyone there, Tom Jarvis, MCoC Encyclopedia, William, they're like, Vega, it's time to make her a 10. I know you want to be conservative. I know you're worried about the rich get richer meta. She's bonkers. She's bonkers. She's bonkers. If she gets nerfed, we'll of course adjust the rankings. But again, it's Kabam and their attribute system. Who knows what's going to happen? We won't know until we get there. But I do think it's worth it to put her up as the 10. I've been wanting to pull her. I just can't get her awakened. So there we go. Now let's move on to the dual threats. And then in the interest of time, again, I don't want these videos taking too long. We'll present both sets of dual threats at the same time, the Turbo Evolve and the Scorching. This is a slight demotion for Werewolf by Night. I love Werewolf. Maybe I was a little too biased towards him. Thank you, Illuminati, for pointing out it might be time for him to come down again. And remember my whole spiel about 8s and Hyperion. 8 is still a phenomenal score. This is a slight move down for Absorbing Man, and a lot of this is just due to 6-star locked. As you get up into the higher tiers, your 6 stars just aren't going to make it unless there's something about them that's very fine-tuned to that particular meta. Okay, I do think that the SP3 change, when 7-star, when Absorbing Man comes as a 7-star, could be massive for him. It just like lights him on fire. He's pretty amazing, ridiculous OP. So just kind of keep an eye on that. Moving on, we got Spider-Woman. Yes, this is even post her nerf, and it's not even a nerf. Like, well, let me rephrase that. I understand that for some players this will be a nerf because they were using her a certain way. For a player like me, she's actually getting a buff, and so much of this due is just kind of how you were utilizing her. I don't think it's important that we all come to an agreement whether this is a nerf or a buff. As far as this video is concerned, we are grading the champion that I believe will be coming in January, that the Illuminati believes will be coming in January. We still feel like she's going to be a 10 dual threat. Moving on, we've got Overseer. This is not a change. This is just highlighting. I think when we get to the special 3, this is a very good champion. Remember, he can get a huge damage increase as well. A lot of these is like Miles Morales and that sort of thing. He's just got way more utility than Miles. When that happens, I'm very excited to test out Overseer. Really, really great champion. Has a cool SP3, so that's a shame, but it is what it is. Moving on to Havoc. I actually had Havoc up as 9. The Illuminati was like, put him back to an 8, dude. What are you doing? I think that there's an avenue for Havoc to be able to take more fights with the special 3. It is a ton of damage. Remember, Havoc's got a lot of utility. I think he's a good defender too. He's back into inequity. So, but it was like unanimous in the Illuminati, and I should listen to them. That's part of why they are there, right? And so they said 8. They're like, if we see great and better results out of Havoc, well, we can obviously move them up to 9. I appreciate them doing it. I'm excited to test out Havoc, but I do understand what they're saying too is, and this is kind of the nature of Battlegrounds right now, and what Kabam has done with these defenders requiring like hard counters is, yes, that might be really powerful to get to your special 3 and end a fight, but how many of the big, bad current meta defenders can you actually do that against? And I mean, it is what it is. Again, this isn't the video for that. Similar thoughts on Dust. I had actually moved Dust up to 9. They talked me down to the 8. I understand and I agree and I believe they know what they're talking about. And if we find that Dust or Havoc should get promoted, we of course will. Solvark, like who tried to kill Solvark this last meta and didn't have like the best option? Was that fun? I know it wasn't for me. And so there it is. I also think the special 3 change is going to be huge for Solvark in getting their fights done on attack even faster. So there you go. Shuri is a demotion. Thank you, Illuminati, for pointing that out. Mysterio is, I don't recall if this is a promotion or a move from defense to dual threat, but the relevant part is, and the important part is, Mysterio gets a really nice attack increase from the special 3, as we've been saying, with the special 3 change. You know it by now. Super Scroll, when they come out as a 7-star, I do think it's going to be a solid dual threat champion. And then Gore, with the special 3 change, you know, God Bombs, going to be doing big damage. And I think the reason why Gore may have more benefit than some of these other champions, or I'm more sure on it, is Gore, if you don't have a counter, can be a really, really brutal defender. And so you Gore fans out there, and I know there's a lot of you, I think you might have some fun with this as a champion who you might be able to trap your opponent by placing Gore on defense if they don't have a counter. And then if they do, you just God bomb them. As usual, let me know what we think we got right. Let me know what we think we got wrong. Make sure you go subscribe to all those Illuminati. And if you haven't already checked out Cantona and you want to get better at Battlegrounds, there's literally no channel that's better as far as streams and knowledge presented. So make sure you go check him out. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.